Today is a new opportunity to accomplish your incredible. So let's wake up each day with a fresh mindset necessary for you to win. I welcome you to Rise and Shine. Morning motivation for the girl boss with author, speaker, and founder of the Prestige Society, Nicole Doss. Let's jumpstart your morning now. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Rise and Shine. And of course, I really do try to record ahead of time, but this weekend was like jam-packed with toddlers, interviews, great food, friends, and worship. And those were all different events happening throughout the weekend. And so, of course, before you know it, I fell asleep with every intention of recording, and hey, I had to wake up and do Rise and Shine at this moment today. So I am so sorry, but nonetheless, it is Monday morning and Rise and Shine, my beautiful, fabulous girl boss. This morning, the word I would love to focus on is purpose. I know I said, I think 2 weeks ago, that I was going to get here to the word purpose. Just know that this word purpose is going to probably be the word that we explore more than once, because I think there's different angles and different things that we need to explore when it comes to this particular word. But nonetheless, let me just jump right into it. So some of the things that I've been going through personally that has helped me with today's episode has been the desire for growth of not just myself, but the desire for Prestige to grow. Number 2, the desire to show up authentically when we're focused on our growth. And then constantly being shown examples of what happens when you are not authentic and when you are not transparent and when you just try to mislead or manipulate people, all so that you can have financial gain. Or when you try to manipulate and mislead people, all so that it can appear that you are something bigger than you are not. And in watching the Fire Fraud Hulu documentary, and then Fire, the Greatest Party That Never Happened on Netflix, that was like my first this is what happens when you allow money and greed to drive your actions. And then the more I kept watching it, I kept saying, wow, from a consumer side, this is what happens when you become so, in awe of what you see on social media, that now you completely are misguided and you're in a situation that you feel like you were basically bamboozled. So some of these people paid like $999. Honestly, if you paid $999, you basically got general admission. But if you paid like over $29,000, some people paid like $99,000. It was crazy amounts of money. Then you were paying for an experience that you thought was going to be VIP, all because social media influencers said that you were going to have this experience, all because social media marketing campaign companies did not take ownership, although they knew that things were not going the way that they said it was going. And honestly, the company, one person says, we didn't know. The other person, another documentary, was like, yeah, we were there in all the meetings. We knew everything that was going on. So we knew that this was fraudulent. So when you look at all these people who are part of this cloud, this nucleus of wanting to be a part of an experience, all because someone who is somebody on social media was going to be there. So Kylie Jenner basically gave like the thumbs up on this, like, oh, my family from Good Music is going to be there. This is going to be awesome. And all of these models and all of these influencers were tapped by their agencies because this group basically went to the agencies that were agents of these social media influencers, and basically was like, please, like, let them basically co-sign this. And because of this, that's why now, whenever they are putting in, doing an ad or it's a paid post, they have to put hashtag ad. So that way consumers realize they're not just telling you for the good old sake of telling you this is what they use. They're telling you this because they're being paid to tell you this. But in realizing this, I realized every single role in this situation had a responsibility, and even down to the consumer, and kind of missed out on that opportunity and now has to pay for it in some shape, way, or form. You know, the actual creator of Fyre Festival is now in jail for 6 years. Now FBI agents are looking at Ja Rule because, you know, although he said he had nothing to do with it, he then went on a podcast stating that he actually was the visionary of it. So now they're looking into him, according to this Hulu documentary. I don't know if that's really true. I am not a journalist. I do not go and research documents, so do not quote me on that. That's just what I thought I heard on the Hulu documentary. And so I think of like them as the visionaries were so drawn to the money aspect of it, Bill McFarlane and Ja Rule, that they didn't care about the decisions that they made around being fraudulent, around misleading people. The influencers only really cared about the fact they were getting paid. And there were other influencers that were reaching out saying, wait, why are these influencers going? If I'm not invited and this is supposed to be the party for all parties, then this is going to make my people think that like I'm not like relevant. So I need to be there. So now, because there's this sense of wanting to belong, now you have other people basically, you know, begging to be part of this experience, which was a complete fraud. And then you have the consumer. And the consumer is bamboozled because you so want to be a part of an experience that was molded and crafted to your every desire, that was molded and crafted to your every insecurity, that was molded and crafted to bait you. That's really what it was, molded to bait you into wanting to be there, to wanting to be among these beautiful models and these beautiful people in this beautiful island. And it wasn't even the island that they end up even having the event at. That you were duped into selling items just to have this experience for a weekend or a week or what have you. So I thought to myself, I never want to be that person. Like, I never want to be that business owner who dupes you into believing that you are going to have an experience with me that you're not going to have. And so when I've been talking to my team around growth, that's really been what's on the forefront of my mind. Authenticity, like, what is my purpose? And I want to operate in my purpose. I don't want to stray away from my purpose. And what's interesting is that I've been so blessed to have these like one-off conversations with people who are not part of Prestige, but are aware of the Prestige brand. And it keeps bringing me back to, and this is why we can't. So I am so transparent. And honestly, and I don't even care. I just do not care. I'm transparent. You love me or you don't. You like me or you don't. And my transparency is not here for the person who needs someone to feed them untruths. Because the reality is there's some of you out there that need that falseness and you don't even realize it. There's something in your life that's missing that you need to have that thing that's not true. So that way you can feel like you're getting your money's worth, I guess. But for me, I'm in this space where I just want to be honest and I just want to be able to build an organization where I am being authentic and I'm being transparent. And I've been having these conversations with my leadership team around what does it look like for us to grow. And one of my leaders said to me, we need to create more glam events. And that literally sent like red flags in my head. And let me tell you why. It's not that I don't think we don't need a glam event. It's not that I don't believe that glam events aren't fun and cute and awesome. And believe you me, your girl loves to attend them. I just did this weekend. But that's not what Prestige Society does. Prestige Society builds and teaches and grows and connects the girl boss. And so therefore, if that's not our purpose, then I can't sustain that expectation for months going forward. So I can't always go to this particular chapter or that chapter and put out money for a glam event just so that I can help feed this expectation, nor do I want to do it once, not meet this person's expectation, this person join based off of what they experienced this one time and then no longer become a member or no longer stay a member because they're realizing that's not the norm. Like, that's not what I want at all for, my brand. And so being authentic has really been important to me. And then I met this wonderful girl who is in communications and public relations, and we were having a conversation around a lot of fraudulent girl bosses out there who are well known that people pay a lot of money to, where people just aren't getting what they expect. And I felt myself defending myself in a conversation that had nothing to do with me. And I think it's because as we're focusing on growth, I've been so focused on wanting to be authentic that I want to make sure people understand that's not who I am. Everything that I do, I am very honest in sharing that I still work a 9 to 5 and work a business. I am very transparent in saying, I do not believe that even if I make 7 figures with prestige, that I can teach you how to make 7 figures with prestige. I can teach you how to do some of the things that I did, but I can't promise you that you're going to make that same dollar amount. Why? Because I don't know if your hustle is going to be the same as mine. I don't know if your drive is the same as mine. I don't know if that's what God has intended for you, that He's intended for me. So then how can I promise you a dollar amount that I don't really know is part of your journey? Now, I can show you how to do things that I've done, like create membership communities. I can train you and teach you how to create workshops. I can show you how I wrote a book in 90 days. Like, I can show you those things, but I can't promise you that you're going to make 6 figures from once you write the book. And I think that's the slippery slope that we fall into, because we know that's what people want to hear. We know that everyone out here is so concerned, and I want you to think about this because I always talk about it from 2 sides, right? So right now, you're going to think about this from the side of the consumer and the side of the business owner. So you as the consumer want to hear how you can make 6 figures in 60 days with your business. You as the consumer want to hear, how can you make 7 figures with your brand? You as a consumer want to hear, how can you get into this 7-figure club, this millionaire club? But the reality is that even if you learn from somebody who can bring you the receipt to say this is what they've built, you don't know if that's what God had intended for you. You don't know if your $1 million journey is supposed to be in 60 days, 6 months, 6 years, or 16 years, because you have a different path and journey that has been designed uniquely for you that does not look like anyone else's. So the formula and those timelines can't always mean this is what you're going to be able to experience either, or as well, because at the end of the day, you have something to teach someone else, and the reason and purpose of your teaching may not be the same. The testimony that you may have is not going to be the same as this person who's over here, who's made this X amount of dollars. But you as the business owner also have to be careful, because one day, this industry of selling people pipe dreams is just going to blow up. One day, somebody's going to say they've had enough. And I feel like it's starting to happen. And you know what happens is because if you are not aware or accountable enough to know that what you're doing is not ethical or lacks integrity, then what will happen is that you will never change. If you do not change, then you start to rack up a path, a group of people who have been burned by your practices along the way, and they begin to tell the story. And that is the legacy, or will become the legacy of your leadership. That will become the reputation of your brand. And that is something you don't want. So how do you stay away from that? How do you ensure that, one, you aren't burned by the people who are promising you the stars, the moons, the sky, the sun, and all the things that are in between? And then as a business owner, how do you ensure that you do not fall into this space where you are promising people things that really aren't what you're able to deliver? And honestly, I think the only answer to that is your purpose. It's your purpose, because your purpose drives you to do things so differently. I got to tell you, I think it was last year, my pastor's son was teaching a Bible study, and he said, when you think about when you are there to bless others, I want you to think about yourself as a tree that bears fruit. And he shared that a tree that bears fruit does not bear the fruit for its own nutrients so that it can eat the fruit. Like the tree doesn't eat the fruit. The tree doesn't need the fruit. The tree bears the fruit for someone else to be able to have, whether it's for nourishment, whether it's for enjoyment, whether it's just for pleasure. That tree bears that fruit for someone else. When you are a purposepreneur, when you are standing in your purpose, you are in a space where you are bearing fruit every day through your business, through your services, through your products, through the way that you communicate with your tribe. And when you are bearing fruit, you are not bearing fruit just for yourself. You are bearing fruit so that you will be able to bless others. And I think this is hard for people to be able to accept because they don't have faith that in the process of bearing fruit for others, you will be blessed. And you have to be very careful about prosperity gospel, because it doesn't mean that just because you will be blessed, that would mean, oh, you'll have a 7-figure business. It may mean that you will bless others and you will have to learn how to build this business from the ground up. You may have to take a few classes from actual universities. You may have to learn from entrepreneurs who are going to teach you a specific skill set that's going to allow you to enhance all the other wonderful skill sets that you have that's going to catapult you somewhere differently. Maybe you need to join groups. Please, I'm a member of the Junior League of Philadelphia. I'm the member of the Burlington County Chamber of Commerce, as well as the founder of the Prestige Society, which is also a membership organization. Maybe you need to read a few books. Maybe you need to listen to a few podcasts. There's some things that you're going to have to do that's going to really challenge you, that's really going to allow you to go into your journey, but you have to be able to tap into what your purpose is. Your purpose isn't to start a business doing this one thing that everyone else is doing that seems to be making the money. It's so funny because I have 3 girlfriends that are in real estate that are really doing well. And I made a joke to someone last night and I was like, oh, I guess I need to go into real estate, but that's not my purpose. It makes the money, that's great. But guess what? If it's not even my purpose, I may not even pass the test because that math is no joke. So if it's not my purpose, math is not my thing, I'm not interested in it, then I'm not going to do it just because someone else is doing it. And if that means that I'm not in a space with Prestige right now, does it mean that, that's it? No, it means I need to have faith in figuring out what else should I be focusing on. It means I need to be able to pray and meditate on a regular basis so that I can make sure that I'm asking God to order my steps. It means that I need to be able to make sure that I am doing things consistently, because there's things that I'm still not doing consistently that I'm like, oh man, that I know I need to do better. Even with the classes, even with the knowledge, I still need accountability partners. Like last night, Nicole said, Nicole, oh yeah, that's right. I was talking to Nicole and she was saying to me, Nicole, I know you're like, what? So Nicole Green said to me, Nicole, you have to make sure that you are posting these things. Like, you have such great things that you've created, but you're not putting it out there. And I was like, I know. And it's because I feel like they're not really ready for me to put them out there yet, because what I want to do is make sure that I'm not doing false advertisement. I want to make sure that when things are ready and things are in production and ready to go, when you hit order, all you need to do is worry about those things being speed to market, just coming straight to you, not whether or not I'm finished something or not. But that helps me. My purpose helps me to stay grounded. And so I urge you all to not be concerned. And I know this is hard because even for me, let me tell you how things are designed to make you so concerned about the things that are not that important. For me, like, you get certain privileges once you hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. So if you want to put like a link to something in your Insta story, you now have absolutely, this power to do so. Right now, all you can do is just put a link to your IGTV channel. So I was just like, oh man, like, this whole drive to get to 10,000 has been so daunting for me. It's like I'm almost there, but like not really there yet. It's like frustrating beyond belief. But you know what? I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus more on, if I know I want to grow in a particular area, instead of me doing a glam event to just try to wow them, I want to start reaching out to them organically and really begin to build tangible, organic relationships so that these people know who I am and that I'm authentic. Because the reality is, when you start popping up with these little glam things, you're not going to be able to sustain that either, and you won't stay around. We've been here since 2012, and we're so proud that we've been here since 2012. But that's what I want to be able to do. But when Instagram tells me, up, but just get to 10K and you can get these privileges, you start getting sidetracked. It's like saying squirrel and completely taking your attention somewhere else. Be mindful that things are in design or created to throw you off of your purpose, to throw your focus off of your purpose. So what I want you to do today are 3 things that are going to help you stay focused on your purpose. So number 1, really take a great look at your business, right? So not just the business as a shell. Let me take a sip of coffee before I go on, because you guys know I am tired. Thank you for that. Don't look just at the shell of the business, but I want you to look at your business as far as what you currently are offering as a service or a product, the information or messaging that you're putting out there, and how you're connecting with your audience. So in looking at all of those things, I want you to figure out, are those things focused on the very thing that you love to do? That thing that you love to do so much that if you didn't get paid for it, you would be okay. Now, I'm not telling you to not get paid for what you do, because let me tell you something, self-worth and value is definitely a conversation. I'm sure that'll be a word in an episode coming up soon. But if you didn't get paid for it, would you still love doing it? There's things that I hate doing that I am really talented in, that no matter how much I get paid, I still hate doing it. Like, oh, there's just not enough money in the world. But I love creating content for my members of Prestige. Like, I love interacting with them in our closed Facebook group. I love working with the girls. I probably give a lot more of myself than what the monthly memberships would entail, but it's because I love doing it. I light up talking about it. I get excited thinking about it. That's the thing I had to focus on, because I began to focus on other things, and those other things took my focus off of membership, and then that impacted my membership. So really take a look at, and not to mention, and I wasn't happy. Into 2017, was not happy, because I was focusing on things that made me money, but not on the things that brought me joy. So I want you to think about, what are those things that you are focusing on, and is that thing that you would do even if you didn't make money? Second thing, I want you to tell yourself, and write this somewhere and just put it somewhere visible, don't allow money to drive your actions. I know that sounds weird, because, hello, you got operating expenses. If you got a website, you got operating expenses. If you have a cell phone, you got operating expenses. You need ink for that printer of yours, that's an operating expense. So you got an office at WeWork or Pipeline, operating expense, thank you. You got a Grasshopper telephone line, operating expense. Oh, you got an email marketing list or campaign, that's an operating expense, right? You got it. You've got operating expenses. So with that, it's hard to say don't allow money to drive your actions, but it's when only money drives your actions. That's where you have a slippery slope. That is when you're no longer focused on your purpose. This is when you will allow yourself to focus on the wrong things. And this is when you will still find yourself unhappy. I'm sorry, money does not bring you joy. I know Ariana Grande said that that's not true in her new song, 7 Rings, that I absolutely love. But it's like, every time I listen to it, I'd be like, oh, boo, but I don't agree with you, because she said happiness is the same price as Louboutins, or like red bottoms or something she said. And I was just like, no, what? Because see, I can still buy me a pair of red bottoms and completely be unhappy. I've experienced where I have been able to make great money on a contract linked with Prestige and still found myself unhappy, because it was the kind of work we were focusing on, and it was not aligned to the original mission and vision for the Prestige Society. So do not only allow money to drive what you're doing. A part B to that is, don't do this for fame and fortune either. When you do this for fame, notoriety, to be recognized, I mean, brand awareness is one thing, but being recognized is another. Brand awareness is making sure that you are putting your brand in front of the people who need you because you know that you are blessing them and they need this blessing. Recognition is more like for your ego, like you need to be recognized. And I felt like I was going down that road when I had a publicist, and this publicist was so talented, so gifted, love her to the moon and back. When I could no longer afford her, I felt like I was like losing the most important thing to this business. I hear a little pitter patter of feet. I know Taylor's coming downstairs, so I'm going to wrap this up. And in doing that, it became more about me more than about the business. That I couldn't do that anymore. So make sure you just don't do this for fame and fortune. Thirdly, focus on how you can bless others. Because you never know who's watching you. You never know who sees you. You never know who's listening to your lives. Just make sure that you're always focusing on the fact that your business is a blessing. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I hope you guys have a wonderful, awesome, and most of all, blessed day. Remember, you're anchoring your businesses in your purpose. And I just hope that you are continuing to remember that this is not about you. This is about how you are going to bless others with your brand. All right, guys. Bye.